We are back once again. This is episode 7 of Third Floor Theatrics from Studio 26. I'm Darren.
I'm Noah.
Tonight we're going to split it up into 2 segments again.
Going back to the original format.
Segment 1.
Virtual reality.
Yes. And section 2 tonight, segment 2, will be about billionaires.
Yeah, kind of just like our opinion on like the richest of the rich, and just our take on that. So, well, I can kind of start off and say that your first experience with virtual reality wasn't too long ago, and it was with me. You used my virtual reality headset.
Right.
And so give us your kind of opinion on that, and like what you were feeling and what you experienced.
I was terrified. I was scared. I don't know if that may have been my very first. I don't know if that was my very first.
You said it was.
Well, it may have been, but I may have done something like that, years ago or something. But I think in recent memory, for sure, it's a cool thing. If I mean, I'm not a video game guy, but if you're a video game guy, especially, it puts you in the game. It sort of puts you in a different world, and it is disorienting. You're sort of disoriented. You feel like you're really there. I think that's what's the craziest thing about it. I mean, and I don't like heights, and so of course you had me on, side of a cliff and the side of a building and all this other crap, and I was I kept thinking I was going to fall.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it was not necessarily a pleasant experience.
Mm-hmm. But isn't that weird how you deep down know that you're not in any danger,
right?
But like the one I had you do, you take an elevator up to like the top of a skyscraper, and you have to walk off of a plank and fall off of the skyscraper.
Yeah. And
you couldn't bring yourself to do it. Like, that's how real it felt for you.
I mean, it doesn't look necessarily 100% real. It
makes it feel real, though.
Yeah, I mean, it looks sort of like you're in a video game. It's not like it's like photorealistic. Yeah. That would be terrifying.
Well, eventually, I'm sure they will be photorealistic.
Oh, yeah. They'll go, and what they'll do is they'll either film actual locations and implement that in there or something. But
well, they do that now, just not with games. They do that, like, there's documentaries and like nature stuff on there that they go and film with an actual camera that you interact with, and those are really cool.
Yeah, I mean, you're not on the side of a building or a cliff. You're in a living room or whatever, but it throws your senses off so much that and I couldn't walk that plank.
Nope. And
I knew it wasn't really there, and it wasn't really a plank, but since you can't really see anything, and what you're seeing is it fools your brain. It's like you really feel like you're there. You're not, but then I don't know. I guess I could have I could have walked the plank, and then I fell through. Fell into your coffee table or something. But
it's something that you have to experience to like truly understand.
Right.
Like, you can explain it. Like, I think you did a really good job explaining it, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there listening that are like, oh, if I put that on, like, I'd be fine. Like, I know it's fake.
Right.
Like, it wouldn't mess with me. But it messes with a lot of people.
It does.
It's like a whole different world. It's so strange.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be cool if, like, all video games were like that, because I can imagine people who are big gamers sitting down and putting one of those headsets on, and then, putting your favorite game in, and just, you're in the game.
Yeah.
More so than, because if you've never done it, it's totally different than looking at a TV screen or monitor. You are in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You turn your head, you look up and down, you're there.
Yeah.
So it can be kind of scary, especially, that's one of my things is heights. I hate heights. In real life, I hate it. And, so it was, I mean, I kind of got used to it. I was end up flying at one point. Yeah. And that was cool.
Yeah. It's something that, and like I said before, not just with gaming, like there's nature things on there. There's like the Netflix app on there. You're not just looking at a screen. You're literally on like top on top of a mountain in this really nice cabin looking at this like 80-inch TV screen, and that's how you watch Netflix. And I've watched some things on Netflix like that, and it's a cool experience.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you're sitting on a couch like you are in VR, like it feels real, almost.
Right, like you're there.
Yeah, because you're not so much focusing on the movement and everything. You're just watching the TV.
Right.
And like, it's something else. Like if you ever have the chance to experience VR, I'm not saying go out and buy one, but if you have the chance to experience it, definitely do it, because I guarantee it's nothing like you've ever done before.
And I wonder if at some point people will start using that for like educational things, like, you know, when people are doing seminars and stuff and they have to watch, you know, you wonder like, almost like, can you imagine like hospitals and stuff doing like CPR training with like a like virtual reality headset where everything's hands on, you know, you could incorporate a dummy in that even. And then I wonder if that'll ever, I assume at some point that will be used.
I can almost, like, my prediction, and I feel pretty strongly about it, is that VR and augmented reality too is the future. Like that is what. No, like I genuinely think, like right now the technology for it is pretty good, but when it gets like super good and more like mainstream,
right?
I think a lot of things are going to be going for VR.
Well, and in sci-fi movies, it's always, you know, it's already there. In sci-fi movies, you know, somebody's already putting on a headset and they're doing, you know, they're in the game.
Have you seen Ready Player One?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I love watching that movie.
Yeah, that's kind of.
If we ever get to that extent, I don't know, because that was like the world has gone to like that's all everyone ever does, and like everyone lives in the slums pretty much, and just lives online. I don't know if we'll get to that extent. But
yeah, we may not. I mean, that may not
hope
be.
Not.
No, that was sort of like the future looked bleak, except for the game part of it or whatever.
And I think with that movie too, they were trying to send a message like you shouldn't live your life online, whether it be VR or anything. Right. And that's why at the spoiler alert at the
you're spoiling the movie for you people.
At the end of the movie, they took the virtual world called the Oasis and they turned it off for a certain amount of days throughout the week to let people focus on the real world.
Right.
And I think that was really the true message of the movie, was to enjoy the real world and not get so wrapped up in technology. And
no, you could see how that could go bad in real world right now, where, you know, we all know these kids that and I've heard people that just, you know, let's say years ago I knew this guy, I think he was on disability, so he didn't have to work, but I think he still lived with his parents, and he was on disability, so he didn't actually have to go out and work, and that was a legitimate thing. But he was a video game nut, and he would get up at like 6 o'clock in the evening and like eat dinner, and then start playing games and play like all night long until, God, I don't know. He would, it was like 6 o'clock in the evening to like 6 or 7 in the morning.
Yeah. And
then he would sleep all day. So it was like living this vampire life where he was, you know.
I've been there before.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah. I've heard your story. But, you know, that's all he did. And I pictured this. I never knew, but I pictured this sort of like a, you know, he's in his room. He's got this big like lazy boy chair with the feet prop out, and he's just sitting there playing video games just nonstop. Probably, you know, empty bags of chips and pop cans laying all over the place.
Like
that was
the guy off South Park.
So there was sort of the impression you got from this guy. You know, he was just played. So you can only imagine if everybody starts playing their video games through virtual reality. I mean, you know, for health purposes,
well,
I mean, how, you know, it could go really bad if somebody's playing their video games for 12, 15 hours a day and they've got a headset on. I mean, what's that going to do to them mentally after a while?
I
mean, it could really, in my opinion, I mean, just guessing, it could really screw somebody up.
Comparing it to like video games, like that guy was playing. If he was playing VR games, which he wasn't,
no,
but if he was, That'd honestly be better because you're moving,
Right.
you're up and active, and there's a lot of games on there that like when you're done playing, like you're sweating.
Yeah.
Like a Beat Saber,
Well,
that one you were playing, like where you slice through the boxes.
It's fairly good on that for a little while.
Yeah.
But I mean, having a headset on and not sort of being in a alternate, almost like an alternate reality, for 12, 15 hours mentally, not physically so much if he's moving around, but you wonder what that would do to his mental state.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be a big drawback. If like there could be a warning sign, a warning label on these saying, if these get really popular, really like, okay, don't use them more than so many hours a day because it can warp your perception, or I don't know.
There's these videos that these guys, well, not guys, but a guy made on YouTube, and he spends 7 days straight. I think it was 7 days, 7 days straight in a virtual reality headset.
He went nuts, didn't he?
He didn't go nuts, but he just talked about his experience and everything.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be insane to be in that for 7 days. Like he slept with it on, everything.
It was like a social experiment.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But that would I couldn't imagine keeping it on for that long.
No, I don't think it would be good either, really.
No, but I think in terms of the future, I think that's going to be it's going to be a way a lot of people communicate, because there's chat rooms and stuff online now where people will talk to each other, interact, because it's way different than just a phone call or texting. Like you see the other person moving around, everything like that, and it makes you feel like you're there.
See, and then we touched on this a while back of what, then it kind of, you think, well, what happens to real relationships though? If that's all you're doing, I think technology it can be fun and good and helpful, but unfortunately, some people will abuse it and they will use it too much, or they won't have any real world relationships, and they'll just, that's all they'll do. So
yeah, but kind of playing devil's advocate here, compared to texting and calling and stuff like that, VR is the most interactive. Like that's probably the most.
What about actually just like driving to someone's house?
Well, besides that, like VR is the most realistic compared to like our normal reality. Like it's way different talking to somebody on VR than it is just texting them.
Right.
So in that case, like, I mean, it's good. Like at least people are doing something more connective than texting, but still, it's still not like a real personable relationship, like in person.
And then you wonder if, like, I don't know where, I don't even know how to approach this, but you wonder if people are going to get into the adult entertainment.
Oh yeah, that's already a thing on there.
Really?
And that market is just like when VR becomes more mainstream, that market's going to explode. Like they've talked about getting like sensory gloves and like stuff that interacts with what you're seeing. Like, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's, everything is, it's weird. It's like everything is so high tech now that, like, when I was a kid, all this stuff was fiction. Like, there was no cell phones that you could, a cell phone's like a mini computer in your pocket, basically. Yeah. That was all science fiction. That was Star Trek or, and, people like where they would have a TV, they would talk to someone in real time and see them like FaceTime like they do now. That was all fiction back then. And so everything is sort of, not everything, but so much of this stuff is becoming a reality now that you just wonder, it's like, this, is there ever going to be a limit? Is it just, I think there's probably going to be a stuff in 100 years that now people think it's fiction, or that's, it's like, well, that's so far-fetched, but I think in 100 years there's going to be things that we would look at now as fiction.
Yeah. It's hard to imagine what those things would be, though.
Well, I mean, that's what we can't imagine it, but just like, I just saw this the other day, and this is not, it's technology, but it's not electronics, but I don't know if it's legit or where I saw this. Supposedly they've got some kind of eye drops that you can take now, and you don't have to wear glasses anymore. You just put these eye drops in.
Like every day?
I don't know. but I didn't read the article, but I saw the headline and I was like, wow, you know, and it said, somebody made the comment that said they're going to put like, you know,
cameras in there so they can see what you see.
No, they said they're going to put like people that make contacts and glasses, the companies like Ray-Ban and all these companies and, you know, that make those, they're going to put them out of business. If this is legit, if someone can get a prescription or whatever for these drops and put it in, and then you don't wear glasses anymore. It's like,
yeah.
I mean,
and I wear glasses and
I wore glasses and contacts for 30 some years. So
I can't do contacts.
So you imagine they'll putting drops in, and then you're just like,
I don't even like eye drops. Well, but I mean, I would do it.
But yeah, if you just put a drop in each eye, and then you don't have to wear glasses for the entire day. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how that would work. I don't know if it would work. I mean, but that's what I'm saying. There's things that are going to be so high tech 100 years from now that now we just go, what would it be? And what, you know, of course, I don't know if we touched on this on some episodes back about like space travel and going to different planets and stuff that now is so unrealistic, but in 100 years.
Yeah, it's hard telling. And kind of getting back on track with the VR thing, augmented reality. I think that'll be a big thing too. Like how you see like with Tony Stark in the Marvel.
Here we go with Marvel again.
With his glasses that he has. Right. Like he sees things. And I think that's going to be a thing. And it already is a thing, but it's not advanced enough to where everyone is doing it. Right. You know? It's kind of a niche hobby.
Niche market. A niche market. No, I would definitely, I mean, it was fun when I had the headset on that time, and it was fun, even though it was terrifying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see where that would be like a lot of fun if you were really into games.
Really into anything. If there's a platform for you to do it on. Yeah. Like if you're, let's say,
what if they had like a virtual toilet, and you sat down on this toilet and you were gonna, you know, have
your business,
have a stool release, virtually. I don't even know where that came from.
That's your.
My mind has wandered off into strange places again.
So let's move on from that one.
Boy,
let's see. Yeah, you completely made me lose my train of thought.
See what happens?
Yeah.
This virtual reality stuff's bad, man. It's bad.
God.
No, what I was saying though is when I had the headset on briefly, it was fun, and I don't like video games. I've never. When I was a kid, we had Atari and like old school Nintendo, you know. And I remember a friend of mine had an old school Nintendo. And I do remember playing that a little bit and playing a little bit of arcade stuff. But the virtual reality stuff is so far removed from that. Yeah, and you are different. Literally in the game. I mean, it's like I said, to me, it was like you look at a video TV or monitor and you're playing a game, and no matter how big your TV is, you're still looking at a screen. But when you've got the headset on, you're in it. Yeah. You're inside the game. That's what's, I mean, fascinating to me is, and like I said, I'm not a gamer at all, but I could see how that would be, you know, a big thing for gamers to sort of just get inside the game and instead of just looking at a screen and doing it, you're actually almost like you're inside of it doing it.
You are doing the things.
And I could see how that would be a huge thing for gamers for sure.
I remember what I was going to say before you went on your toilet rampage.
Virtual toilet reality.
What I think would be a good thing for it, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that do this. Say like how I was talking about with the Netflix thing. Like you're in a mansion and you're looking at an at least 80-inch TV watching this Netflix show. And say you don't have a lot of money in real life.
Right.
Like you might not even have a TV.
Right.
But if you can just pay to afford the headset, which the one I have, it was like $300. And most TVs are more expensive than that.
Right.
But you're literally in there and you're getting a way better experience than you would if you were to buy like a cheapo 32-inch TV that's sitting all the way across your living room. like it's a way better experience. Like you're literally in a mansion looking at a giant TV. Like it makes you feel like you're rich, you have everything you want.
But I think the thing is, people need to still be grounded.
Yeah, for sure.
And realize that it is fiction. It is you take the headset off, you're still living in
the slums.
In the slums in a shack.
But at least it can give them a release.
Like this goes back to movies and music and everything else. If you can use it for entertainment, if you can use it to sort of like get away from your daily grind and your daily stuff and the stress and the bad news and everything else going on, if you can just sort of take a break from that and just be entertained, that's good. But I see this kind of going like a bad sci-fi or horror movie where somebody's so enthralled into this fake world that their real world suffers. Because that,
just like the movie Ready Player One.
Right. Or somebody's like, let's say you got a guy who's 35 and he's still living with his parents and he can't keep a job and he's got mom and dad to back him up, and he can't keep a job because he's up, all night long playing video games, and that's all his mind is on. Well, it's, that's not good. I mean, he has no life. He doesn't have any, and plus he's a, I won't say a burden, but sort of a burden to his parents at that point. Cause he's 35 and he's like, Bobby, you can't keep a job. Bobby, you don't have a car.
Bobby, like, get off the Xbox.
Right. It could be used, overly used. If someone's obsessed with it.
I think anything can be overly used.
Oh yeah. Well, we talked about that. Anything can be used in the wrong way. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's an amazing piece of technology that is unlike anything that most people have experienced.
Right.
It's truly eye-opening.
Yeah.
Because after you're done and you take off the headset, you're sitting there thinking like, none of that was real. But the way it made you feel, it was like, that was real.
Oh, it feels real. And I think that the more realistic they get, and especially at some point, if it gets photorealistic, where if they go in and the whole thing is all real video that they went out and shot with cameras, and compiled into this,
or even didn't shoot it with a camera. Just like look at all the movies now; they're CGI.
Yeah.
If they were to build scenes with CGI,
but even CGI though, there's still a limitation to where you go, it doesn't quite look 100% real. But it's close. But if you went out with a video camera and you shot a bunch of documentary style footage of like nature and, you flew a drone over a canyon for the, and then you incorporated that into a game, that would be terrifying, especially if you're scared of heights, because it's real footage. You're really not there, but
even with,
it'll get better, I'm sure, the quality.
And even with it now, like it looks like like it's obviously animated.
Yeah.
But even with it animated, it still feels real. And
because it tricks your brain.
Yeah, because it's everything
around you is that.
Yeah, there's nothing you can see in the real world to ground you to the real world. Everything is animated, and that's the world you're in at that point.
Right.
Yeah, it's something that you have to experience for yourself. It
was definitely fun. Like I said, even though I'm not a gamer at all, it was definitely fun, and I would do it again, and hopefully walk the plank next time.
Yeah.
And
well, it's up there hanging if you want to do that later.
Oh, we might sometime.
Yeah. Face plant.
Yeah, I hope not. Then I'd be like, I'm not doing this again. What else do we want to cover with the virtual reality topic? We are winding down close to on the first segment.
Yeah. What do you think it's going to be something that really takes off in the future, or do you think it's going to be just like a little niche hobby?
I mean, I don't know. It's like if the video game companies especially...
Well, there's already a ton of video games. There.
But I mean, if they all really start... it's like how like everything now is downloaded video games. In the day, you would go to GameStop and you'd buy the disc or you'd buy the cartridge or whatever. And now everything's sort of downloaded. And that's sort of the norm now, I think. I mean, GameStop's still around, but so if it becomes a huge if it becomes sort of more the norm with video games, especially, and I guess if it becomes the preferred way that people play them, then it'll take off. It'll be.
But what do you think about like the thing you said, like with CPR, like stuff outside of
Oh,
video
with like
games?
educational purposes stuff. I don't know. I mean, if hospitals and clinics and companies that do that kind of stuff, if they all feel like that's the way to go, and if it benefits the participant, yeah, it'll probably become more of a thing.
Yeah, I definitely think it's one of the things that isn't too well known. Like a lot of people know about it, but they don't know or haven't experienced it. But I think down the road, it's definitely going to be one of the things that play a large part in our society.
I think so. I think it'll get bigger, just like everything else keeps progressing along and getting bigger and more refined. And I'm sure it'll, Well,
one thing we can kind of end this the VR segment on, and kind of do a really good segue into our next topic of billionaires, is talk about Facebook and the metaverse.
Right.
You know what that is, right?
I know what it is. I probably won't be a part of it.
Well, for people that don't know, it's Mark Zuckerberg's imagination of like how we're going to react or interact, not react. And it kind of reminded me of the Oasis, like how everyone's in there. You have conference meetings together, all of this kind of stuff going on. Mm-hmm. And he's one of the people kind of spearheading the idea. And ironic thing is, Facebook is the owner of Oculus, which is probably the biggest VR company. That's the one I have. It's an Oculus Quest 2. And Oculus is owned by Facebook. So like they set themselves up and everything.
Right.
So that's going to be something curious, or not curious, but it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Right.
And how many people are going to take to it.
It may take off, be massive. I mean, we just don't know.
And one of the things too, like the VR chat rooms, those are extremely popular. That's something I've never done because that doesn't interest me.
But isn't it weird though? Like you'd have like, a bunch of people laying in pods with, VR helmets on, and they're all like in these pods, let's say, or they're in these chairs, and then they're all interacting together in this fake world. When all they'd have to do would be take all those off and go out, sit in a park somewhere, and actually hang out and talk. I mean, it's like
but
if they want to go to space or do something crazy like that. I mean, but
let me go hang out with my friend Tyler in Japan for free on this VR.
But the thing is, it's not really Japan.
Well, no, but it would make you feel like it was.
I know. When it's done though, you're left with hollow feelings and sadness.
Yeah. Well, that's when you go back in, get those feelings back.
That's when you book a flight to Japan and go to Japan. That's what you do. That's so. Looks like we're rolling down. We're getting down to the wire on this first segment. Do you want to go ahead and transition into the second one since we're right there? Or
we can go ahead.
Okay.
Just a reminder: the second segment is going to be about billionaires.
That's right,
the richest of the rich. And I know we touched a little bit on Mark Zuckerberg there a couple minutes ago. He's obviously one of the big shots in the world. But I think the three we're going to focus on is Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and Mark Zuckerberg. Because I think out of all, like there's obviously more billionaires in the world, but I think they're the most influential.
You probably know more about these guys than I do. But
well, even if I know more about them, what they're doing and stuff, like you can easily talk about that stuff.
Right.
Like for Elon, for example, like the electric cars, SpaceX, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, Metaverse,
I think
Jeff Bezos, Amazon.
Billionaires, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of them because I think they're, the amount of money they make, you
can't fathom how big a billion actually
is. And not only that, but the amount of money it's like they could fund a small town with their.
No, they could fund a small country
with their finances. I don't know. It's like, I want to see. I'm waiting for the day when a billionaire puts on a suit of armor or a bat suit.
Yeah, that'll be the day.
And goes out and fights crime. That is a billionaire that I can get behind and support. Bruce Wayne, if you're listening. But no, you can't fathom those people. You can't fathom the type of life they live. I think for us normal folks out here in the boondocks, the Midwest, or just the normal, we all know people who are wealthy. We all know people who have money, but they pale in comparison to billionaires. No. They're not even close. They're even some guy that makes a lot of money, might be a doctor or whatever, a business owner. They don't compare.
Yeah, there's a big difference between someone who's a millionaire and a billionaire.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of millionaires out there. There's not that many billionaires.
No, they are like 99.9%, and they are the 0.1.
Right.
That's how many there are.
I don't know. I think if they are using their mass financial might to help people,
I think
that's good. But a lot of these people, I think, will probably live these crazy lifestyles where it's sort of, I don't know. And maybe I get this from watching movies or something, but you get these people who are billionaires and they're they've got how many cars, how many houses, they've got how many yachts. It's like, to me, it's excess that's not really needed.
Yeah. I don't think I'm sure all three of the people we're talking about definitely have nice things.
Probably more than you could even fathom.
Elon, probably the least, even though he's the richest.
I don't know.
No, because I've watched a lot of things on him, and the amount that he works and like the stuff that he does, he puts a lot of time into. Like, he doesn't have nearly as much stuff as like he could have, because he spends so much time working with his companies.
Right.
But one thing is that the three people we're talking about, they're all workers.
Yeah.
Like they work a lot at their company. Like, they do a lot of business stuff. Like, they didn't just retire and they don't live on an island somewhere and not do anything. Like, they're all actively working and playing a big part in their company or companies.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I wouldn't want to be a billionaire. I mean, everybody thinks, oh, be a billionaire, it'd be great. And it's like, no, you wouldn't even, it would be nice, I guess, to be a millionaire. I guess, it'd be nice to even be close to that. But I think there's so much, I mean, I don't know. It's a mixed bag, because people who don't have money want money, and people who have money want more money.
Everybody just wants money.
But rich people want to be richer. It seems like, they're not satisfied with just being.
The ceiling is never ending,
and they want to be on that list of the top. Whatever, how many billionaires in the U.S. or in the world, they want to be on that list. I think it's like a goal, which is sad. But I don't know. I mean, it's something you can't fathom because
one thing I like to tell people, and this is just, it's basic math. I think at the time that I did the math to work this out, I think Elon Musk's net worth was $170 billion.
Right.
Okay. So if he were to liquidate all his assets right now and he had $170 billion in his bank account, how many years do you think he and his family could their budget was $1 million a year? $1 million, which is very good.
Right.
How many years do you think his family and future generations could sustain that? $1 million a year taken out.
I don't know. Like,
just guess.
1,000 years.
1,000 years? If he had $170 billion and spent $1 million a year, his family would be set up for the next 170,000 years.
There you go.
And like, that is beyond insane.
We should all be shooting for that, ladies and gentlemen. All of us.
If you ain't a billionaire, you ain't making it.
That's right. Well, and that's just to me, that's
That's too much.
It's too much. Nobody needs that much money.
Put that, like,
if you,
that money doesn't need to be sitting around. Like, you need to be doing stuff with that money, not like necessarily material
if
things.
a guy,
like,
if a guy had $1 million, and let's say they had $1 million, and just a simple guy, let's say he strikes it rich or wins the lottery or whatever. If you had $1 million and you were smart, you'd never have to work again.
Depending on how old you are.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is, you take that $1 million and go invest it, and it would build, and so it'd be more than $1 million, and you could live a very comfortable life, and you could help out a friend or a family member or somebody, and you'd be very comfortable. But even that that's like a penny compared to a billionaire.
Like I mean, said with that math thing,
it's ridiculous.
Like if Daddy Elon would come in and drop me and you both, gave us both $1 million, that'd be like nothing to him. But that would completely change our lives, and all that would affect him was his family couldn't live off $1 million for the next 170,000 years. It'd be 169.
Do you think we could get Mr. Musk to donate $1 million to each?
Maybe. I
mean, he wouldn't have to bat an eye.
No, but that's the thing. They don't do that though, because then everyone would be bothering him all the time. But that's the crazy thing.
Can you imagine that though? Like they said, hey, we're going to give you $1 million. We're going to give you $1 million personally, and then we're also going to invest $1 million into the podcast business, and then we're also going to invest $1 million in Moonlight Films. Okay, that's $4 million. Well,
it's nothing
to them. That's like, go get the checkbook. It's like that to them.
No, that's them. Hey, go get something off the dollar menu at McDonald's.
Right. It's
and
some people go, well, it's
large.
all perspective. It's all perspective.
Hey, Google, stop.
We had a interference there from some sort of computer, evil computer that came alive.
Sentient being.
Yeah, there's robots in here too. We can't talk about that.
Yeah.
But no, it's
forced to record these.
It's yeah, they don't do that. I mean, they supposedly, a lot of them give to charity, which is good. If they're giving to charity, you wanna hope that these people are doing stuff off the radar that no one knows about. There's a story of the guy that and I think he was a millionaire, not a billionaire, but there's a story of the guy that created Little Caesars.
I think you've told me.
I think I've told you this. And he, I think, was it Rosa Parks? The whole story about the bus.
Yeah, that's Rosa Parks.
So I'm pretty sure it was her. I wish we maybe pull that up on your phone while we're sitting here to make sure, because I don't want to give somebody the wrong information. But he was from the Detroit area, and like, she was going to be evicted from her house or apartment. And he paid her rent. Is that right?
Yeah, I just fact checked you. That is correct.
About Rosa Parks, or about the story in
both?
Okay. So she was going to lose her house or an apartment, and he found out about it, and he paid for her rent the rest of her life. Like, he, and it was totally under the radar. It wasn't in the news, wasn't on the papers. It wasn't in the papers, wasn't on TV. It was talked about years later, that he did that, and I'm sure he was a millionaire.
Yeah,
running pizza.
Speaking of pizza, if any Little Caesars employees are out there listening and want to sponsor an episode, give us a shout out.
Here we go. That's not likely to happen, but anyway, nice. He did it totally off the radar, and he was a millionaire, but he saw somebody that deserved that, and he just totally did it without any fanfare.
Yeah.
And if more millionaires or billionaires or whatever are doing those kind of things, then that's awesome. But
the thing is, you don't know.
We don't know. You kind of hope they are, but
the thing,
there's some that aren't.
Well, definitely, yeah. And the thing with Elon, a lot of his stuff, you can't do it in secret. They're huge companies.
Right.
Like Tesla and SpaceX. But those companies, regardless of what you think about them, what they are doing is good. Like being able to do space travel and stuff. Because NASA for a while kind of didn't give up, but like wasn't focusing on that. And let's say SpaceX does go to Mars and colonizes it like they want to. What if something happens in 100 years and the Earth isn't inhabitable anymore? That man not single-handedly, saved the human race, because that'd be a backup planet that we can go to, because he wanted, like, his drive is to colonize Mars and make it livable. So I think that's something that's really important. And also with
well, you hope
Tesla,
it's important for the right reasons. You hope it's not important just so he can make more money.
Well, no,
because then that's like, you don't have enough money. What?
But I don't think that's the case, because his companies aren't like that. Like Tesla, it's electric cars trying to do better for the environment.
Isn't he kind of? But I think he as an individual, he seems kind of.
He is a genius. No, he's a genius.
Well, I didn't say he's not smart, but he just seems, I don't know. He seems a little
eccentric.
flaky.
He's a little eccentric. He's a little odd, but he's.
Well, I think history's not been written yet on it. I mean, you really don't know. You won't know of any of these guys, period. All we know is they're filthy rich and they have very successful businesses. What we don't know is, when they're gone, when they're dead and gone, how history's going to look at them. And it could be very favorable, or a lot of dirt could come out that people don't know. And they go, oh, well, we didn't know that about him. We didn't know he was secretly, I don't know. But you know what I mean? It's like
and I can see that with a lot of people, but Elon, like, it's hard for me to believe, just as much.
You guys like a real man crush on Elon, or what?
Elon's my dad.
You've talked about. I know better than that, because we'd be on top of a skyscraper somewhere instead of in an underground bunker where we're at now.
Studio 26.
But you seem to have a real fondness for Elon Musk.
Because
what is going on?
He's one of the he's the richest. Last time I checked, the richest person, and his companies are.
It doesn't make him a good person, though.
Everything I've seen, he seems like a good one. Like, you look at Mark Zuckerberg and look at Jeff Bezos, and you kind of like get a weird feeling from, like, especially
I feel like they're
Mark.
I feel like they're my loving uncles when I see them.
Yeah. But no, and another company that Elon does is the Boring Company.
Boring.
They're digging holes and tunnels under, I forget, I think it's LA. I don't know. And it's for travel. Instead of like subway, like, you can pull your car into there and it moves your car like super fast underground. Like, there's demonstrations of it, of ones actually working on YouTube.
This will probably go really bad. This will be the one that ends the company.
All of his stuff is like actually good for the environment and good for the world. That's what my thing with him is.
So you think he's a real life Tony Stark, don't you?
I mean, he's probably the closest thing we have to, and that's been said before. Like,
I'm going to tell you something. He's no Bruce Wayne, okay?
Well, you never know.
So
you don't know what he does at night.
No, he's not tough enough to be Bruce Wayne.
You don't know that. Elon could pop you in the jaw and you'd be out. No. You never know.
I'm a black belt.
The little Mark Zuckerberg, he might not be able to.
I'm a black belt, Elon. Bring it on.
But let's talk about a little bit about Amazon. You know how much I use Amazon.
You use Amazon like some people use toilet paper.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. And it's not that I'm fond of Jeff Bezos. And a lot of the things coming out about the Amazon warehouses. Have you seen that?
Some
working conditions, like, people are peeing in cups because, like, they're being tracked with cameras, making sure they're meeting their quotas. Like, it's very, very work intensive, not employee focused.
Yeah.
Like, that I don't agree with, but man, just paying a Prime membership, which really isn't that expensive.
Like $12 a month.
Yeah. And you get Prime Video, you get Prime Music,
free
shipping, and not to mention free shipping, but it's 2-day, at least where we are, it's 2-day shipping. Some places it's 1 day, and some of the big cities, it's same-day shipping for a lot of items.
There's also the gold standard one where you get, like, Jeff will actually come over and give you a back rub.
Yeah, that's
the gold version of Prime. Prime Gold.
Yeah, we don't like to advertise that too much. That's only reserved.
If we get sued for that, we're sorry, Jeff, for that comment. No, I mean, Amazon is good.
It's such a convenience.
It's unfortunate this is another topic altogether, but I use Amazon a little. I mean, enough. As a movie collector and a CD collector, there's not a lot of stores have cut down their CD and video aisle down to almost nothing. So I can go on there and find a movie or a CD that I really want for my collection, or something new, even something brand new that's coming out. And, I can probably find it on Amazon 95% of the time. So I like Amazon. It's sometimes it's hard to separate the company from the person.
Yeah.
Like Jeff might be a total goofball.
Well, he was wearing that cowboy hat when he went to space. So
well, he could be a total jerk. We don't know. Now his business is pretty good for people, and if
not
people
good for the employees though.
No, I don't know much about that. But I mean, it's like if someone lives in an area where they can't. Let's say you live out in the country and you can't go shopping.
Mm-hmm.
Or you don't want to drive 2 hours to a mall, or go, especially with COVID or whatever, or you just don't want to get out. Well, you can get it shipped to your house. I mean, it's there it is. You've got it. And
I'd say with confidence, the only thing I don't buy from Amazon is food items. Everything else I buy from Amazon.
Right.
Unless Amazon doesn't have it, then I go buy it at like another online store.
Right.
But Amazon pretty much has everything. Like even the new toothbrush I got from Amazon. The toothpaste I ordered, I got from Amazon.
Special toothpaste?
It's like teeth whitening or something.
Oh, jeez. Anyway.
But no.
Only the best for Noah.
Yeah, but it's just, that's what I do, like, all my shopping on. And even...
But you also don't like to leave your house.
Well, no. But even if I did, they have a way better selection than just our local Walmart. And I don't want to drive to Evansville and go to the mall, like some electronics store like that. Why would I do that when I can just have it sent here?
But there are, and like you said, you don't buy food there. But remember the time we went to Fresh Market? You had a blast.
Well, yeah.
Because all the cool food, all the stuff you don't see around here. So there are.
Well, the electronics I see online all the time.
That's if you know what you're getting, and you can order it. I mean, electronics. But yeah, there's certain things though that I think online is not the way to go. Mm-hmm. Things that there are not. But back to the whole after we've had this love affair with Amazon and Elon Musk that you have, back to the topic of billionaires. You hope people are using their money wisely, and you hope they're trying to benefit society and help people, and not just be some rich snobs that are, holding their nose up to everybody else.
Yeah.
Because at one time, more than likely, these people weren't rich.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if any of the three people you mentioned came from rich families. I don't think so.
I don't think Elon did. I think Mark did, but it wasn't like filthy rich. It wasn't
Did he create Facebook when he was in college?
Yeah, I think it was like at Harvard, though.
Yeah.
So his family probably had money, but it wasn't probably an unspeakable amount of money.
And I think Jeff started Amazon in his garage.
Yeah, his 6-car garage with 2 McLarens.
Well,
parked
that's
in
now, but
yeah, I don't know the story about Jeff.
I think he started in his garage just as a small business. So, that's the thing. Everybody,
that's how Apple started.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. You start out some small business, and then you get real successful, and I think that's great. But and you know what? This is a separate subject or whatever, but if these guys are billionaires or millionaires, they need to be paying their taxes.
Don't give me. Let's not get into that.
So are you for that?
Yeah, definitely, because freaking 4-year-old me, 22, starting college, everything like that, like starting college again, going back to school.
5th time he's going to be a proctologist.
This year, this is getting a little personal here, I paid over $10,000 in taxes.
Yeah.
And like, to me, that is an absurd amount of money. Like, I'm trying to go through college. I pay my own bills. It's like...
And Jeff's paying for...
Jeff probably paid the same amount of taxes I did.
Yeah, and he's buying gold lined toilet paper.
Yeah.
We're back on toilet paper again.
Yeah, your obsession.
My obsession with toilet papers, I used to own, was it White Cloud or what? I don't know. Anyway, I have a ownership in one of the toilet paper companies. Anyway, let's move on. So, but no, those guys should pay their taxes for sure because, and you always hear about, well, this guy's a billionaire. He didn't pay any taxes last year. He wrote everything off. So it's like,
that's not right.
No, those guys need to pay.
No. I mean, yeah.
No. See, he's defending them again.
No,
see?
I meant to say like, no, like that's not
right.
That's
They
not
need to
right.
pay their fair share. Yeah, I think, but see, I think, and also if someone becomes so rich that they almost become like above everybody else, that's not good either. You know, it's like they almost like they don't. There's certain people, and I'm not going to name names because I'm not getting into this, but there's certain people who grow up rich who've probably never put gas in their own car. They've probably never paid their own bills. They've probably never went to the grocery store. They've probably never had to call and have a repairman come because their staff does all that for them.
Yeah.
You know, they don't relate to us. They don't relate to people who work or who have, you know, just sort of middle income, middle America. They don't relate to us.
Mm-hmm.
Those kind of people I don't really have much use for because it's like, you know, I don't know. I have a real problem with those kind of people who have someone pampering them, holding their hand, doing everything for them, you know. It's kind of like snap their fingers and say, go take care of that for me. You know, go do this, go, you know, and, you know, now if that person has a good conscience and that person is, you know, helping homeless people and helping agriculture and helping, you know, middle America, the normal people, us normal folks, normal, slightly off like myself.
Yeah.
Then that's good. You know, if you're a billionaire or a millionaire or a trillionaire or a zillionaire or whatever, however high it goes, I don't know. Infinite air. And you're just hoarding all this money and you're just living like some king somewhere. I just don't have much use for that. I just don't have much, you know, and you're probably living some crazy life that's, you know, you're probably doing all kind of crazy stuff. And, you know, your neighbor down the street has, you know, can't pay his bills and you've got an 80 bathroom mansion.
Yeah.
80 bathrooms alone, you know, 4 kitchens.
All with gold toilet paper.
And you can fit, you know, a fleet of cars in your garage. And this guy down the road's like, hey, I can't pay my gas bill because the utilities went up. And this rich guy's like, you need to work harder, you know, whatever. You need to help, you know. And
my thing is, and not just with, this doesn't just apply with money. If you have the power to help someone, then you should help them.
Right. And you know who has the power to help? Billionaires.
Yeah.
So
give us a small loan. Get this podcast up and going. We'll shout you out every single episode.
Yeah.
Promise. Write it up.
Probably not likely to happen, but yeah, if it does, great.
Know.
You never know.
Stranger things have happened.
So in closing, because we're getting close.
Yeah.
I will never be a billionaire. And so I don't really have to worry about that. I would settle for 100,000 air. Or I would say, you know, I'd settle for, you know, I just want to be content financially and do what I want to do and do my stuff. I don't care about, you know, but people can't honestly, realistically think about being billionaires.
No.
That's so over the top. But if you're a billionaire and you're listening, which I know you're not. You know, just try to be responsible with your money and try to help out society and try to help.
Yeah, take advice from us.
Try to, because us little people, you know, you never know when you're going to need us for something.
Well, they do need us. Like if everyone decided to quit using Amazon, Jeff Bezos would be, his
if we
company
quit
would be
buying
no
their
more.
crap or we quit using their services, they would be screwed.
Yeah.
But I don't know that they
welcome.
think about that because I think they've got so many customers that if they lost, I lost 10 customers a day. Who cares?
Yeah.
I got 90 million more over here that are going to fill the, you know. So anyway. I don't know.
So I want to finish off this episode with, if say you tomorrow you had $1 billion,
Oh, wow.
you had a
wake up
mystery relative that left it to you, and you had $1 billion,
$1 billion.
just one,
Right.
in your bank account.
Right.
What would you do?
Well, first of all, I would focus.
Quit your job.
Well, I would focus all my time on being creative and doing my creative pursuits, because it would allow me to do that. I would also make sure that I'm financially secure, that my relatives were okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And your podcast.
well, we would invest in the company.
Invest in me.
Well, me and you are the company. So, and then, once you got everything squared away and you had your personal affairs sort of taken care of, get with your attorney, look at your finances, do what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Then you say, oh, who can I help?
Yeah.
And if there's a local school that needs some help, you help them. If there's a local, whatever I think you probably would want to help your local community. So let's say they're wanting to build a new community center. Well, you would help out, just things locally, people that, that you knew personally. You would start there with local people, local organizations. Because, you hear about these organizations that are having car washes and to raise money.
Yeah.
Well, if some billionaire can step in and help out, then do it. I mean, that's.
Yeah.
Most importantly, just be smart about the money. That's what I would do. Just be smart about it.
Yeah, I hate seeing stories like where people win like a multi-million-dollar lottery
and blow it.
They just blow it. Their life gets
happens
ruined.
all the
Like,
time.
and I'm thinking like, you wasted that.
Yeah.
Like, you idiot. That could have been me.
It happens every day.
Yeah, and it's sad, but I guess they learn.
Maybe they didn't.
My thing is, if I had $1 billion tomorrow, I obviously would quit my job. I wouldn't go back to school.
Yeah.
Because I don't enjoy those things. And I do like to do work to an extent, but not necessarily work for a livelihood. Like, I would like to work on things that I enjoy. Like, I would probably spend a lot of time cooking and enjoying movies, and
you live a life of leisure. Live a life of leisure.
Yeah, I would take life slow, do what I really enjoy doing, and not have to worry about the stress of normal day life of like, oh, is this bill going to get paid? Did I make enough on this?
But you would be smart about your money.
Well, yeah, definitely. And like I said, I would, or like you said, I'd help out some people.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give it all away.
Right.
Because that's, like, not trying to be mean, but that's dumb.
Yeah. You can't, because then you're going to suffer.
Yeah.
You have to look out, I think, for yourself, and you have to look out for your family and your friends and your close friends and your local people, and like I said, your neighbors and community.
Yeah. I'd probably buy like a big plot of land, build like my dream house on there, and it wouldn't be anything like spectacular, like massive. It'd just be nice, and it'd be how I wanted it built.
Right.
I'd probably build like a racetrack on there, race my car around.
But well, I'm a big Alice Cooper fan. I'm a big music fan, and Alice Cooper has a teen center that he opened, that he runs in Arizona, where he lives in Phoenix, and he ran this for a long time, and so he puts his money into this, and it's to get kids off the street. It's to get kids in there, and they learn. They can learn like how to play musical instruments, and they can learn the music business, and it gets kids off the street. And it's like a big deal. It's like, I mean, he really puts that money in for the young people of where he lives. He lives in Phoenix, and then he also and he's a millionaire. Alice is a millionaire. He's been very successful. He's been very successful for a long time. And then he even donates time, like he'll go to down in soup kitchens and stuff like on Thanksgiving and actually serve food to people. Serve people. It's like cannibal soup kitchen. That kind of goes along with Alice's character because it's a horror
cannibalism.
Well, the horror theme and the monsters and all that. But no, he donates time and money to charities. He has his own youth organization, and then, like I said, he donates time at soup kitchen. So, and he's a guy that is a multimillionaire, done very well, but he does very positive things for people in his community. And that's more of those guys need to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I think so too.
Maybe if we ever get there, we'll have to.
Yeah, the first 1,000 subscribers to the channel. If me and Darren ever make it, we'll set you guys up for life. Don't worry.
The first, oh geez, this is gonna be like Michael Scott's Tots.
Yeah,
remember that episode?
Scott's Tots.
Yeah, that went. Remember how bad that went?
Yeah, you guys can all have laptop batteries.
Don't pay attention to that. Okay, so we look like we're gonna wrap it up now? Are you?
Yeah, I think so. Like I always say, thanks for watching till the end if you made it this far. Hope you guys enjoyed. New episodes coming out every Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern time.
All right, we'll see you guys down the road.